Alright everyone, there is a link in the description. It's a BitChute link because the YouTube link, the YouTube video got taken down, as Veritas explained. It is to Project Veritas, which did an expose on Google, and how there's appears to be a culture of pro-censorship, election interference there at Google among some former employees there that they were talking to, or I think one of them was a current employee. Nothing in it reasonably could be construed as breaking existing YouTube terms of service, so I'm not sure why YouTube felt it was a good idea to remove it, knowing full well that it would then, the Streisand effect kicks in and it promulgates cross-platform and everyone's talking about it even more. It's at 70,000 views, I think, right now on BitChute. That's quite a bit for a platform 1/100th the size of YouTube anyway. And I'm sure that it'll rise further. It's all over fucking 4chan and Twitter and everywhere else. It's interesting because Veritas Reddit banned apparently their handle there as well, which isn't surprising. These large corporations have begun to collude with one another. Basically, someone is labeled with a scarlet letter. They're labeled wrongthink. They're given the label of leper or witch or something, you could say. And a witch hunt kicks in and they're like banned off of multiple platforms, usually at the behest of like the legacy media hit pieces, or some group of shills will try to troll them offline or something through emailing their corporate sponsors or whatever. But it is a dark age. We're in another burning times where people who are not actually hateful or extreme are called hateful and extreme. Free speech is deemed a bad thing. Free expression is deemed the devil. And basically everyone is Hitler. So what this actually shows is that there are several employees here in some internal documents that were leaked, showing that Google is actively attempting to influence political opinions. So it's no longer like Google search and YouTube and stuff. Initially, if you look back 5 years, the goal is this is a platform you search for things and find what you're looking for. That's the whole idea of searching the internet. The whole idea of Google search is I put in a search, I find relevant material that I'm going to be interested in. Hopefully, Google is skilled enough so I don't have to go to page 3 to find too much. Now, though, you probably have to go to page 20 to find the good stuff because it's been algorithmically manipulated to all hell. Now, let me give you a personal anecdote. I'm well aware that my material is well fucked and far from home as far as being searched for on YouTube, because I can do it myself. If I have the exact title of one of my videos or I look up my actual username, I find all sorts of stuff. But unless somebody has an exact title or already knows my username, not going to find jack shit most of the time. Half the tags can be identical, in the same order, with the same description. I can pile all of that in search and I will find nothing. My video, for all intents and purposes, does not exist in YouTube search if it's on anything edgy. Now, if you look them up, there's some gardening videos, some occult literary content, and that's basically my presence as far as new users that aren't already familiar with me. Which is why things have slowed to a crawl on YouTube, where I'm still shooting ahead everywhere else. Except for Twitter, but they've been manipulating things for 1,000 years, so nobody's really surprised and it doesn't really matter. What this shows to me is concerning, because it shows a culture among the employees that is biased. Now, you got to realize, these aren't like Sundar Pichai, these aren't high-level executives, but these are the sort of people that get drawn on to fill those higher-level roles. What about day-to-day enforcement, which one of them apparently was from Trust and Safety? Okay, so you've got a culture of political bias, deep-seated political bias. And let's say there's a wrongful ban or something. Don't you think it'll take longer to restore the account of someone that these people generally, organically, are not going to like for political reasons? Oh, it's Stefan Molyneux. Well, he can wait a couple days. We'll put it in the back of the line. Do you not think things like that can happen? Who's going to guard, the fox is guarding the hen house on that one? Because their managers are probably politically biased as well. The corporation itself doesn't have to be. For those of us who are actual creators, the threshold of bias affecting us is so much lower. Sundar Pichai could be told, he could be a libertarian and it wouldn't even matter. The lower level individuals, the Silicon Valley elite people that are actually populating Google and making these decisions on the day-to-day, very pragmatic, rudimentary level, are presumed to be more biased. Well, there you go. There's your problem for somebody like me. It's not even about the decisions that get handed down from the top. It's about the decisions that come from the bottom. That's basically what it is on that level. And the idea that one of these employees is like, well, yeah, we're looking forward to 2020 and try to prevent a Trump situation. Why should... So in other words, there is a direct attempt, at least at least it is envisioned by this employee. Let's give Google the benefit of the doubt and say this is just the employee's opinion. You've got an employee here, and not the night janitor either, saying openly to someone in a bar or a cantina or some shit, yeah, by the way, we're doing everything that we can to prevent another situation. So election interference, in other words. You know, is considering Google's size is the same as some large countries out there, it should probably spook the people who are afraid of election interference a lot more than the specter of non-existent Russian election interference. But of course, the mass media that loves the idea of tech censorship is not going to talk about this. Do you think there's going to be a CNN expose on Google's potential and political bias because of this? No, not going to talk about it. If they talk about it at all, it'll be to demonize Project Veritas and drag out old bullshit about James O'Keefe and pretend that there's no problem. They won't tell the public that the video was mysteriously scrubbed only a few hours later from YouTube. They won't tell the public that Reddit, one of the largest, websites of its kind, banned Project Veritas same day. They won't talk about how that knitting forum or whatever it is banning all mention of Trump, which is hilarious. Not that it matters, Ravelry or whatever it's called. It's like, yes, I'm sure that people won't make an army of troll accounts and go in there and just start submitting knitting patterns that say MAGA or something like that. I'm sure that won't happen. Yeah, it's going to be a funny time when that troll raid hits. 4chan, get on it, it'll be hilarious, especially, the sort of people that are in the knitting forum. You can imagine the demographics are probably a little bit screwy, a little bit inbred maybe at times. But yeah, so Project Veritas expose, and this comes right on the heels of the Pinterest expose, which is a Zuckerberg property. I didn't even know that. Again, so many of these companies are owned anyway by a parent firm that's like some permutation of Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Zuckerberg, which is basically Facebook Insta, or something like that. And it's very, very funny how they sub-own basically the rest of the visible internet. And so if you get labeled wrongthink, you basically stop existing. Alex Jones knows this all too well. And it's very, very funny how we've started branding people in society with scarlet letters. And all the Don Lemons and CNNs and legacy media, basically tabloid junkies, they all think it's great. Because it's making them more money. Because if they can knock independent competitors out of the way online, then they can increase their ratings and their ad exposure. That's basically what it's about. It's about fucking money. It's not about keeping families safe or keeping little Jimmy from seeing extremist content. The stuff being demoted and banned is not extremist in any way, shape, or form. These sites never had a problem with terrorist videos 5 years ago. You really think that they suddenly grew a heart? Why? Nobody pressured them to. Congress never pressured them to grow a heart and be benevolent. And corporations can't be benevolent anyway. That's why we have to stand against every single aspect of all censorship. There has never been a period in world history anywhere in the world where any element of censorship has been implemented for benevolent reasons. It is always for evil. It is never for good. Show me one example where censorship has been applied and it hasn't done harm to that culture or that civic system. You're not going to find one. It's like when Don Lemon greasily rambles about how we have to ban people from YouTube or whatever because of Hitler. Yeah, again, the Third Reich. No censorship there. No similarity with having a bunch of corporations and private individuals as well spy on one another and make sure to report any wrongdoing to the authorities. Report them to the Gestapo or something. Yeah, that's basically the culture of Silicon Valley. Inform on your neighbors. We're going to spy on you and sell your data. And by the way, free speech be damned because it's bad, because it'll cause extremism. My goodness, yeah, okay, well, yeah, the 1700s were overrun with anarchic bomb throwers and Nazis, I'm sure. That's about all. Peace out.